So I want to talk about a number of steps in terms of induction. Now, a lot of organizations will do one of these steps reasonably okay. And that's what I call the functional story of the organization. So it's going into the business, understanding what makes it tick, what products and services do you deliver, where's your income derived from, understanding your organizational chart, knowing the constitution, understanding the cadence of meeting. It's all the functional stuff. And how often is it that we get an induction pack and it's full of all of this? Here's our style guide and here's our media policy and the policies and procedures. That's great. And it's foundational and it absolutely has to happen. But that's not it. That's just one part of what a really, really good induction process should be. So I want to talk through some of the other parts, and they're unfortunately, I don't think, often handled as well. There's a second piece, which is the underlying story, the unwritten story of the organization. And this is where you talk about in the organization's evolution, where is it today? What's made it what it is? What's its background and experience? So that's almost the human story behind the organization. A couple of years ago, we had, a particularly disastrous business venture, because these incidents that happen in an organization's past create scarring on the organization and they create baggage. And it's important to understand the context of that as a director, not because you're going to relive the past, but because if we don't understand the past, then we can't really know ourselves and therefore know not just the right pathway for the future, but the best tactical way to get there, because you will decide on how you execute strategy very differently depending on some of these stories of the past. How much communication do you need to go into with your members or your stakeholders to instrument a particular change? Are they more hands off? Are they more hands on? How much are they expecting from you as an organization? That deep understanding of the organization kind of DNA, that's a really, really important part of induction. So that's probably best done, quite frankly, over a dinner and maybe a nice glass of red, because it's the storytelling behind the organization that creates really critical learning pathway that helps new directors not be behind the eight ball for the first 6 months, kind of feeling like you're at the party, but you missed the main invite. You don't have all of that intricate knowledge. So that's a really great part of the induction process. The other part, of course, is just the relationship part. Boards are really delicate ecosystems. They're a microcosm of the organisation, but they're really delicate ecosystems in their own right. So understanding the key relationships around that's understanding the different working styles, ways of communicating of each of the other directors, knowing the way that the chair best likes to run meetings, the best way to communicate up to the chair, down through the chair, the best way to interact with the staff, getting to know your executive team, getting to know the nuance of how to best. These are the things that allow you to get the best out of your organisation. Now, great people will do this as a matter of course. Great people, when they come into your organisation, will go, who's who in the zoo and how do I get the best out of this place and the relationships within it? Because we run people businesses at the end of the day. It's just a combination of a whole bunch of people doing things. And understanding how those people tick is really important. And then the last piece of induction is understanding what the business is like from the ground up. So this is the going into the Woolies shop. It's the going onto the factory floor. It's the spending time in the hospital. It's the spending time, getting to know the staff, whatever your organisation might look like. And really understanding the nuts and bolts of the business, because it's really easy to set that top line in the boardroom, but you have to understand the nuts and bolts and from the ground up. So all of these elements make up induction.